6:00. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's the 24th of August, 6:00. UK Property Chat. Every Thursday, here we are at 6. Tonight, joined by Glomé, Sanjay Patel, and Lauren Bloomfield. We are going to get stuck into all things property. We've got some great news articles to share with people tonight. We've got a little screen grab of what people have been looking at and typing into Google as well. And as the banner says there, UK property market news we're going to cover. So, ladies first. Lauren, how are you?
Good, thank you. All good, busy.
Little avocado over the right shoulder, is that there?
Yeah, that's our list of Avocado. He sits up there and watches over.
Little mascot.
Mm.
And you got a friend with you today as well. We saw off camera in the broadcast.
He has actually just walked off. I think someone's cooking dinner downstairs, so he ran down to see what scraps he can get.
Yeah, and that's not your husband, that's the dog, yeah?
Yeah, Brian normally doesn't sit in a bed on the floor, so no.
Good stuff. Right, we're going to catch up again in a sec. Sanjay, how are you? Got the microphone ready?
All good. I've got my podcast microphone out. Hopefully you can hear me loud, crystal clear. Yeah, all good. All good. Very, very busy at the moment. Super good.
Seen you and Matt doing lots of Beat the Portals recently. Lee, you're joined by a friend.
Yeah, this is Fallow. You say hello?
Oh.
Very big since the last photo I saw.
Oh God, yeah. He's 2 years old now. Yeah. God.
Has he got avocado dog collar?
Of course. It's got to be done, hasn't it?
Good.
Here comes the other one.
Good. Right, so little wrap up then. Let's have a little wrap up on how things are at the moment. Sanjay, coming to you because you got the microphone, so it'd be rude not to. How is the market in Bracknell, and what are the conversations you're having with sellers and buyers?
Bracknell property market at the moment, I would say we are doing more volume in terms of houses coming to market, houses going under offer than we were this time last year. Now, we are about to come into an even busier time of the market, with September, October being generally the busiest months of the year where people are moving. So I'm excited to see what happens. But generally speaking, even with the interest rates as they are, I know they're starting to come back down. I'm sure we'll touch on that later. The Bracknell property market is definitely moving. If you're priced right, again, and if you're marketed right, absolutely.
Good. Yeah, positive. Bit of positive news there then. I've seen lots of sold graphics coming in as well. So yeah, this is live. So if you want to ask us a question, for those that are joining us, let us know if you can hear us. Drop us a like, drop us a comment, and of course, ask us a question. In particular, Lauren. If you've got a question for Lauren, she's on her debut tonight. She's ready for anything. No questions are off bars here, so throw them in there. Throw them in there. How are you and Ryan getting on in Tilehurst and West Reading? And a little bit into RG2 as well now. So how are you guys getting on?
We're doing really good. Obviously, summer holidays, we sort of noticed since, I say, beginning of the summer holidays up until last week, it's been fairly quiet, like steady, but nothing too exciting. But this last week has definitely something sort of shifted. We're seeing more people wanting to view houses. We've been out to a couple more valuations. So it's almost that shift going into September. Kids are going back to school and everyone seems to be starting to get the ball rolling with getting the house on the market. So it's exciting to see what is going to happen, because it definitely has picked up in the last week to obviously school holidays. Everyone's away. So it's good.
I guess a lot of people are coming back from being abroad and things like that now, aren't they? They're kind of getting into that last week of school holidays. A lot of people returning. But I've always said it, for me, September and October, two of the most active, busy, hectic months of the year, alongside January and February, which are obviously the most dominant. But I love these 2 months because it's the end of the year. It's the excitement. You've got the panic of people going, wow, can we move before Christmas? Blah, blah, blah. Christmas word comes into the market, which causes a little bit of motivation and speed for everyone. So, yeah, really good points there. And if you are watching now or later on, you want a link to get a valuation. If you're thinking the same, you're going to be moving soon. I've just thrown that on everyone's socials in the comments there. So you can use that link and then pick one of the 3 options that are on there. Online valuation, proper valuation or social distancing valuation if you want to get those booked. Lee, how are we doing in Surrey?
It's all good. It's all good. I think a bit like Lauren, obviously there's a few people sort of on holiday at the moment or just slowly coming back. But I mean, it's certainly I found the last week or so, there's definitely a lot more activity. There's definitely a lot more the conversations I'm having with clients in terms of getting their properties ready to market for the September market coming back when all the kids have gone back to school. But yeah, there's certainly still plenty of buyers out there. Certainly people, with moving on their radar. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Can't complain. Roll on when kids go to school though.
So we've got a few more days left of this month, but it is shaping up to be a record month for the group since we launched just under 4 years ago. So it is showing that the market is still there if things are done properly. And we highlighted it on last week's chat, actually. We've got Matt checking in here, checking Sanjay's doing what he's been told. Hello, Matt. Thanks for checking in. But yeah, I released the data last week, actually, but July was awesome. 90% of what was listed by Avocado was put under offer on the portals, which, 9 out of 10 properties coming on is selling is really, really good news. So love to see that. Sanjay, you love a joke. What you got for me tonight, fella?
No, I like a joke when I'm not on live. When I'm on live, I get nervous. I can't do it.
I said to Grace, my 7-year-old, I've got Sanjay on tonight. He's going to throw a joke and then ask me for one. What can I give him? And she said, do you know who invented, the lady that invented the knock knock joke? Do you know her? No, she won the Nobel Prize.
God.
11 years old. That was good, wasn't it?
Grace.
7 years old. That's not bad. Lauren loved that one.
I did, yeah.
Right. So what I wanted to talk about is a couple of news articles, actually. So let me just get the first one up, and I want to see what everyone thinks. Shona loved that one as well. Look. Well done, Grace. I will let her know that it went down well on camera, although Sanjay wasn't overly impressed. So this is on the BBC, as we can see here. Renting now cheaper than first-time buyer mortgages, says Zoopla. And I read this and I kind of thought, is that really the case? Or is the data being slightly manipulated for the benefit of a clickbait headline? And I don't know, but what's everyone's thoughts on that kind of instantly? First thoughts. I mean, Lauren, rents have been going crazy, rental prices. And obviously prices have dropped over the last 12 months a little bit. So logic would say prices have gone up in rental and sales, they've gone down. But obviously they're taking into context the high interest rates here. Feel comfortable with that? Or do you think there's some manipulation in there? What's your thoughts, Lauren?
No, like you said, if you look at the rental market, the prices are just crazy. So it's sort of hard to believe that what they're saying is sort of fact. And also it'll be interesting to see what type of properties they're comparing. Renters, are they comparing houses that renters are renting opposed to what people are actually buying? So I'm not convinced that is a black and white, this is what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, for every conversation I've had, Lee, with anyone, we're all kind of at the view rental prices have got a bit out of control. They need taming. And obviously sales prices have reduced. The last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, mortgage rates have reduced as well, which we can touch on at some point. But generally speaking, do you think that's a case of maybe tenants typically rent a 2-3 bedroom, smaller property? And even at first time buyer level at the moment, a lot of first time buyers are pushing up for that 3-bed end semi.
Yeah, definitely. I think like you say, it's that there's probably going to be an element of truth in some degrees, but when you're looking at the average rent, and as we know, rental prices have gone up massively over the last couple of months, and mortgage rates, okay, they were obviously heading upwards. They are coming back down. So yeah, I think like Lauren said, it does totally depend on what cross section of properties that they are actually looking at. But no, I wouldn't say that's 100% correct.
Yeah, fair enough. And Sanjay, you can kind of see there on just the basis of what they've taken the mortgage sort of level at. Let me just move the disclaimer down there so that we can see it. So that's what they're looking at there. Basically, they're looking at mortgage repayment, assuming a 30-year term, 15% deposits, 6.2 rate. So renting in mortgage payment in London based on the London asking price would mean on those £2.5 grand mortgage, whereas rent is £2 grand. I'm stunned that that's how low the rent is in London. I would have thought it'd be way higher than that.
Yeah, I'd like to question, where they're getting that data from, because I mean, London's a completely different market. You can't compare London to any area in the UK. You just can't. That's just facts. It's it's a high volume city, and I remember Mike even saying we had a 2-bedroom apartment around the corner, and he got like record rents for it, like £1,700 a month.
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling me that to get buy that at 300 grand, as opposed to renting, that would not cost you 1,700-1,800 quid a month to get a mortgage on, with a 15% deposit down. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't sound right to me. And I know what rental prices are doing. They're astronomical at the moment, which is good in some respects and not so good for other people. So
yeah, I mean, South East 1254 is just not the case. Like, that's not the average rent round here. One beds are now 1,100 round here, so that is just not the rent. We've got Avocado, Stevenage, the house on the comments, getting involved, passionate about this. Ricky says, may well be cheaper to rent, but you're still paying someone's mortgage. And then he's also saying, where did they find those stats? Not an equivalent land registry for renting, is there? I think that's Zoopla itself. So it's Zoopla's review of the market data there, Ricky, is what that's showing. So we've sent Ricky steaming off on a terminal there to get some new data to come back to us with the true representation of what the average rent may sit at. So Sanjay, you mentioned the market in Bracknell's good. What type of conversations you're having with sellers in the living rooms at the moment? What's the verdict from their point of view?
The most asked question I'm getting at the moment, and we are the back end of August, is can we move before the end of the year? It's always the case, isn't it? And it's down to so many different situations, like, if there's a chain involved, if there's no chain involved, if there's cash, if there's mortgage, if you're going to use the right solicitors and not a rubbish solicitor. There's so many different variables. And I think a lot of people went to evaluation yesterday. They just want honest advice on what their options are. That's literally it. And just breaking it down for them, especially I'm speaking to a lot of homeowners that have all of a sudden been in their homes 10, 15, 20 years and now considering moving because of the way the market is, and they're questioning their lifestyle, etc., etc. So yeah, interesting times, really. It's a bit of everything. It's a real pick and mix.
Yeah, cool. And Lauren, from your point of view, obviously you and Ryan are living in the area you're operating in, like most of the Avocado agents. As a mum, someone that's worked in the schools as well, how important do you think it is for buyers that you're dealing with that you've got that knowledge of the local area? Is that something that is probably not valued enough in a estate agency, having an agent that knows the area as a resident, as a parent, as a neighbour?
Oh, 100%. It's so nice and refreshing. I've worked in different areas before, and you sort of do a little bit of research before you go out to a house. But to be able to go to a house and say, well, I know, the school down the road, I went to that school, it's really good, or I know you can take a couple of minutes walking, there's a shop there, and you speak a lot more with confidence. And a lot of people, especially if they're moving if they're not in the area, they need that sort of hand-holding, I suppose, in a way, to just show them that the area that they're moving into is right for them. Obviously, you have to ask the right questions and guide them into, find out what they want, and you sort of let them know what's around the area. So it is really handy, and obviously it's tried and tested. I've lived here for 30 plus years, so
so you know it well.
I like to think I do, yeah.
You know where you can get anything you want to get. I also still feel that there is no more valuable thing to have in a walking distance to your property than the little Tesco Express, Sainsbury's Express, having that little 11 o'clock shop, you know, especially as a parent, that's a must for me. That's undervalued, I think. When people talk about local amenities, they talk about the big superstores and things like that. Having that little corner shop that's open to 11, golden nugget, right, Lee? I would have thought for you with dogs and kids.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, sort of echoing what Lauren says there, it's, you know, it's fundamental having you know, that all the amenities locally, but, you know, from an estate agent's perspective, knowing, you know, having an agent who knows the area, who can talk passionately about it. And I mean, I showed around a client yesterday, and she, you know, I was showing around the house and she just wanted to ask me questions about Cranley. She read my bio on our website and she was just like, you know, at the end of the view, and I just want 5 minutes of your time just to literally ask you about, you know, Cranley, I see you live in the area, blah, 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 you know, what's locally. And you can just talk passionately about it because you know, you live it, you live and breathe it, you know the area, you know, we're heavily involved in the communities, whether that be the school, football, or you know, whatever it is as business owners. And you know, we can give them, you know, the lowdown, and I think from a buyer's perspective, they really do appreciate that. And I think that also helps a buyer make their decision whether that's the right property for them, or if it's not the right property, but actually, you know, that's the right area for them. That's the area they want to live in. So yeah, it is really, really important.
Yeah, I love that. What's the sign say over your right shoulder? I'm intrigued.
This kitchen is made for dancing.
Do you dance?
Not very well. not unless I've had a few drinks.
Alexa's in our kitchen, so, you know, at the moment we've got Mamma Mia most mornings. It's getting a little bit tedious, if I'm honest with you, but there we go. Coming up, we're going to talk about exactly what people are typing into Google when they type something around UK estate agents. And we're just going to answer those questions because people want to know the answers. That's why they're tapping it into Google. So we're not going to shy away from it. We will try and answer as many of those questions as we can as well. Sanjay, touching on the local stuff, do you think, and we might find out when we look at the Google stuff, but do you think there is more value in an estate agent knowing the local market, or more value in experienced estate agents? Do you think it's better to have an estate agent that's been doing it for 30 years compared to an estate agent that, like Lauren, that's lived and breathed that area for the last 30 years, but still has agency experience, but not as much? What would you say is the most valuable?
First thing that comes to my head is probably experience. Like, you can't, being an agent and knowing the ins and outs of every little integral detail of the process to be able to guide, advise, handhold your client through, I think is invaluable. I talk about the same with solicitors. Like, you find a solicitor who's been around for 30 years, that knows the ins and outs, that is so knowledgeable, so valuable, that, in my opinion, is worth more than what you pay them. Because you could learn a local area. Like, I didn't grow up in Bracknell, but I've lived here for years. So it's a very different thing. But because I've been working around it for so long, that you just know the area off the back of your head. But that experience, yeah, in my opinion, is invaluable.
I had a client on solicitors. I had a client ask me what solicitor they should use today. In fact, they said, is there any solicitors I shouldn't use when I go around shopping? And I said, if you Google cheap solicitors, don't use anyone you see in that search. Basically, that's the best way to stay away from them. So, yeah, totally agree. Experience is vital. Local experience, local knowledge is vital. But that's why, you know, everyone on this call has got over a decade in the game, which is great to know. So this is what people are tapping in. So I just remove that from Lauren's face. Boom, there we go. This is what people are tapping in. So this is an awesome website. It's called answerthepublic.com for anyone that's not used it. In this little search bar up here, it says enter topic. You can type in anything you want. Obviously, we've got UK selected, but you can type in anything and it will tell you what people are typing in. And these results are based around estate agents UK. So we often do this for our advice videos because it's something that we know people are asking Google. They want the information. So around R, we've got our estate agents regulated in the UK. I'll go to you on that, Lee. PRS is our governing body. but regulations wise, you know, are estate agents regulated in the UK?
Yes, we are. Obviously, we are part of governing bodies where obviously we are regulated for trading, for everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, I'm sure there are some estate agents out there that aren't, but generally speaking, yes, we are.
Yeah. So you got the Ombudsman and you got the Property Redress Scheme, and they're pretty much the two kind of regulating bodies, if you like. So as long as you're kind of with them and you operate within their guidelines, then they've got an element of control should things get out of hand. But obviously, no estate agents are qualified. Sanjay,
I've got a question on this.
Yeah.
Ian, you'll probably know this, so probably a question back to you on this. If you don't, no worries. In the US, you have to have a license to be a real estate broker. We don't have that over here. But is there an equivalent, and could you see that coming to England?
There's a lot of talk of it around the market, in the industry, I should say. A lot of talk about it. We've obviously got Property Mark being one of the big players with regards to that. And there's a lot of talk that, well, they said 2024, 2025, that there would be some type of exam or some type of qualification that would come in that would mean not necessarily that estate agents are regulated, but estate agents, if they don't pass it, aren't able to trade. So yes is the answer to that, but not at the moment. But I think it's inevitable that it will come in. And it does seem a little bit mental that, you know, to do a mortgage, you've got to go through X, Y, and Z. To be a solicitor, you've got to do X, Y, and Z. To be a surveyor, you've got to do X, Y, and Z. To be an estate agent, you've just got to be able to drive. And some don't even do that for naughty reasons. So, yeah, crazy, really. These are great, actually. So let's look here. Why are estate agents so useless? And why are estate agents hated? And then just why estate agents in the why box? So people would like to know the answer to that. Anyone want to answer, and in a friendly manner? But why might people be typing that into Google, do we think, Lauren? Is that from like a bad experience, maybe? Or
I think a lot of estate agents have a bad rap of I think dishonesty, like throughout the years. A lot of everyone's heard stories of backhanded things that happen in the industry. People always know people. I personally think it's from dishonesty, and they just don't trust estate agents. They feel like they're out there to make their own money, and that's it. You know, they're just numbers to, you know, when you work in an office, when you put a house on the market, essentially it is just a number. You don't really have that sort of passion. Obviously it's polar opposite to what we do, where we get to know the people, and we pride ourselves on being open and transparent. You know, it's completely opposite to what I've ever experienced working in an agency. And I think that is the main thing. And you see estate agents driving around in, you know, flashy suits, flashy watches, flashy cars. It just doesn't really...
Just rubs people up the wrong way a bit, doesn't it?
They're not relatable, essentially. If you're trying to sell a house and male or female turns up in a brand new BMW and a really expensive watch, and you're sort of moving because you can't pay your mortgage, it's not really relatable, is it? He's out of touch with who he's going to see, or she. Yeah,
and I think they've got a certain reputation around communication over the last few years as well, which 100%. We're trying to do our bit to fix, but definitely there. I'm interested on this one, Sanjay. Look, in the will area here, can estate agents make up offers? And then it's also got down here, will estate agents lie about offers? So people really asking around the offer element of things, you know, what are the rules and guidelines around that? So can an estate agent make up an offer?
Yes. Unfortunately, they can do. They are not supposed to. They absolutely should not be lying about.
Clarified that.
They absolutely should not be lying about offers. Now, I've known in the past through previous companies that they do give an offer or give a figure to the owner where it's not actually the offer, just to set expectations. You cannot be doing that. If you are found out doing that, you're going to be in big trouble. But unfortunately, this is going back to Lauren's point. This is unfortunately where the dishonesty comes in. But if a buyer makes an offer at any point in the transaction before exchange of contracts or completion, they legally are obliged to put that offer forward to the owner, and they should not be lying about the price. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, I mean, to explain on your point from an in-house point of view, because we've all got a lot of knowledge in how the game works outside of Avocado, but a lot of estate agents are put under pressure in the mornings to get viewing feedback, and a lot of the time it's called price-related feedback. You're put under pressure to go and get price-related feedback, which means normally questions like, I know you don't want to buy the property, but what would you pay for it? And someone might say, I don't know, and then a figure which is like crazy low might get brought into conversation, and the estate agent effectively use that figure to try and get your price reduced, to make it easier for them to sell, which it's not ethical, and it's one of the reasons why the bits that Lauren was talking about is probably tapped into Google as well. So there we go. Who's got a dog barking live on a Thursday night at 6?
That'd be my two.
That'd be yours.
I decided to have a scrap in front of me.
Fair enough. What is bubbling? What's the secret cookies you can tell me about that's not online at the moment? Maybe a Beat the Portals has just been done, but it's not on the interweb. What have we got? Lauren, anything you and Ryan can share that's bubbling at the moment?
Yeah, we're talking maybe a month away, but it's definitely coming. A 4-bed detached family home with a massive garden on Chapel Hill in Tilehurst. Chapel Hill is really sought after area. You can walk to most of the schools from there, close to the triangle, so the main centre. It's a really sought after home. I've spoken to a lot of people when I'm putting things on Facebook, people are saying like, we want 5-bed detached homes in Tilehurst, and they're just not coming on. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be a great family home for someone.
Big garden as well.
Yeah, big garden.
Nice. Well, if you want to know more about that property, or you want to register with Ryan and Lauren, obviously check out their socials. You can see there. So if you just type in Lauren and Ryan, Tilehurst and West Reading, it will pop up into Facebook or Instagram. And definitely, obviously, follow their page, because the first that people will hear about that is on your Facebook page and your Instagram page with a live, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. The day that we film, we'll be doing some live bits, so that will be the first sneak peek, as it were.
Very nice. Lee, what about yourself? Anything on the bubble over there in Surrey that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'm literally just about to launch a 5-bedroom detached bungalow in Great Bookham. It's about 1,500 square foot. It needs work, so it has current owners have been there since new. They actually built it in 1957, so it's the first time it's been on the market.
Wow.
But a lot of properties down there. So there's actually not many bungalows now in this road, whereas a lot of them have either taken the roof off and gone up, or they've basically flattened them and built either a big detached house or two detached houses on the land itself. So yeah, really, really exciting one, this one. It's going to be coming on about 700. So I'm actually going out there on Saturday morning to do the photos and the Beat the Portals. So if anybody's looking for a property like that, keep an eye out, and I will show you the details in the next couple of days.
5-bed bungalow, not many of those, is there? Jeez.
No. So about 1,500 square foot. So it's got so much scope to turn it into a really, really nice 5-bedroom detached family home. So yeah, exciting project for somebody on that one.
What do some of the big ones where they've been flattened sell for down the road there?
Depending on what you do to it inside, but you're looking at anywhere between 1.2 to probably 1.4. So nice. There's definitely a decent amount of scope to add some serious value to it, which I'm sure will appeal to somebody out there.
Get the drone up. Let's go swimming pool hunting. Love that. Sanjay, what about yourself? What you got bubbling? Jennings Park must be something in Jennings Park.
Yeah, we have Jennings Park. We love Jennings Park. Bracknell. So we've got actually a nice wide selection of properties that are actually launched on our website and on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. They are not on the property portals. They're actually going live today, tomorrow, over the bank holiday weekend. So if anyone's listening and they are interested in a 4-bed detached in Wooden Hill, lovely jubbly, we like those. A 3-bedroom end terrace in Jennetts Park, lovely jubbly, we like those too. And I've got a 1-bedroom maisonette in Birch Hill. They are going live, and a 4-bedroom detached in Great Hollands. They are lovely, but they're all live, so people can start inquiring about them. Get in before.
Go check them out. Check out the socials. I mean, we haven't touched on socials, but Matt's saying loving the JP, sending a bit of love for the JP there. We haven't touched on the socials, but just a reminder to everyone, and thank you for those that are watching us at the moment. We put everything live on our socials first and foremost. We literally get the instructions from the client. They give us the agreement to market, and bang, we put a straight live video, little teaser intro, normally outside the front of the house. This is what's coming to the market, and being on our Instagram or Facebook page will give you the privilege access, the priority queue jump, if you like, before they get on the portal. So that is the place to be for your local area. Definitely make sure you're following the page to get the notification when we go live. And then after that, it goes into the CRM and it gets pushed out in our internal database again before it hits the portals as well. So you've got your extra priority exclusive look on socials, then another one in the CRM, and then we'll put it out to Rightmove and Zoopla. So don't miss out on that double whammy kind of exclusivity. Lauren, well done for your first live. We will have you back next week.
Yeah, maybe.
Not so sure about that.
Lee, good to see you. Thanks for bringing your furry friend with you as well. Always nice to see an avocado doggy there. Sounds like some exciting listings for both of you, actually. And Sanjay, obviously, sounds like yours are there. Go check them out on Instagram. Check out the Beat the Portals. Who's been on Instagram this week, you or Matt?
Both of us.
You just mix it up, do you?
We mix everything up, yeah.
Love that. Right, we're back next Thursday. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for those that were watching. Thanks for all the comments and likes. Every Thursday we're there. Have an awesome bank holiday, everyone.